but we had to promote, you know what I mean? Shout my man TTK, who laced up the fly zoom background. You know, every touch point counts, man, and every detail matters. And the music I make is very detail oriented. You know, I'm very fine with the fact that my music is not for everybody. You know, as you mentioned and you alluded to, I have a full-time career in the marketing world. I work at an agency called Translation/UnitedMasters, and been there almost a decade, you know. So everything you're seeing right now from the promotional side is me just applying what I've learned and what I do for big, you know, Fortune 500 brands. And for me not to take that skill set and apply it to myself and my passion and my craft would be ignorant, you know. So, you know, back to the question about quarantine, I think it's done a lot. You know, the mental health question is a great point to raise. You know, sometimes you get a little stir crazy being posted up in the crib, but for me, it was a big blessing in disguise. You know, like I work so much that I'm never home, and my time with my family is very limited. And I have a 1-year-old daughter, I have a wife, you know, and the time that we've been able to spend together has been priceless, man. You know, I don't take that for granted. And creatively, you know, I've been able to find my pockets and my zone, you know, whether the baby's sleeping and that's when I'm picking up the pen and starting to write. In fact, I wrote this whole project while I was on paternity leave from work, you know, and I would be carrying the baby, feeding her, changing her, you know, helping my wife. But the pockets of downtime I had to maximize. And I was like, yo, I feel mad inspired right now. My boy, Mono and Stereo, Rich, he produced the whole project, and he's a dear friend of mine. He sent me so much music just at the right time. And I was in the right mental space that I was able to just build out the entire project. So for me, the quarantine was more of a blessing than a curse, you know what I mean? And it did have its negative effects as well. You know, like my family got touched by it. I lost my grandmother to it, unfortunately. So I don't want to paint the picture like quarantine is this happy-go-lucky thing, because it's not. You know, it's very real. And I face kind of both sides of the spectrum. So that's been my experience. You know, like I said, I've worked at Translation, which is kind of like the parent company I just hit my 9 years. So I've built a trust and a really solid relationship with Style, to the point where like I was one of the few people who he brought on board to launch UnitedMasters. So I worked on the strategy, the rollout plan, some of the brand identity. And it was interesting because it was like role reversal, right? Like the same way I just said, I take the marketing stuff I learned in my 9 to 5 and I apply it to my passion. I was able to take my passion and apply it to my 9 to 5, right? So as an independent artist, I came with a certain mindset that really built empathy into the company. You know, this wasn't just like a bunch of guys in white lab coats that were trying to examine this lifestyle. Like, nah, there was people on the inside who actually lived that lifestyle and got to inform a lot of the decisions and the features and the tools that, you know, we're now distributing to the masses. So it was a cool kind of like full circle moment where, you know, I got to apply my passion outside of work I had to let it bleed into the work and really create something really special with UnitedMasters. And, you know, the fact that there was this prestige around record labels, and if you got signed, that was what success looks like. Like, that don't mean nothing today. You know, I have a small fan base, but they're very loyal and they're international. And how do I maximize that? How do I use my data? How do I understand it in a way that's human? And that's all the features that UnitedMasters brings to me as an artist, and helps me get on all the platforms like Spotify and Tidal and Apple Music and stuff like that. You know, it's funny, my family would see me on Spotify or Apple Music, and just that alone is like, wow, you know, he made it. You know, it's a different prestige, like I was saying, a different optic lens to it that UnitedMasters really easily helps facilitate for the artist. So I'm super thankful for it. And on the album, you know, there's a moment where I talk about my parents and their background and their story and their journey, you know, and I think it's important for our generation to acknowledge that, especially, you know, coming from an immigrant family where it's like, I can't even imagine putting myself in my parents' shoes, you know, and to see everything they've accomplished and the platform they've set up for me and my brothers, you know, it's just important that we take it to the next level. So